What's up, everybody? It's your favorite winged toy with a robot as an accessories favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Cang Toys Pterhowl, which I'm guessing is their take on Swoop, but it is kind of hard to tell. Because a lot of this stuff, I think, with Cang Toys, it's so far left of center that it's like, I would call it more inspired by, as opposed to actual third party. Like, I don't know, I think there's a big enough difference between what they're doing with these Dinobots and with, like, the Transformers, you know, capital D Dinobots TM, that to me, it doesn't even quite feel like third party. It just feels more so like its own design. But with that being said, this is on loan to me from Robert D, and I've been sitting on it for a while, so to speak, but just other stuff has been taking the forefront. But now it's time, so let's go ahead and get to it, but first we're going to get to accessories. So he comes with this combiner hand. As a hand, you know, it looks fine, but it also has a function. If you get this piece out of the way, this is what locks it in. And if you swing this out of the way, this can rotate up, and then you move the thumb to the back, and you move the fingers around, and then you kind of have this like spider drone thing, if you're interested. You know, I mean, they did something cool with the feet and with the hands last time too, right? So like, this is just their way of doing business, and that's good enough. He comes with two guns. Now, a lot of these weapons are, there's a ton of things you can do with them. I'm going to try to show off as many as possible. So there's a handle that flips down. There's red and metallic red and gunmetal paint on the gun. And decent enough sculpt work. They're meant to be tabbed into the hand, but it is a really difficult connection to make. But if you wrap the fingers around, you can get the tension anyway. They can also be stored on his back, utilizing this peg here. And then, you know, if you rotate that around, you know, it kind of has like the over-the-shoulder gun, up to you. He has two swords with the metallic gunmetal and then the red metallic. And they're, you know, like I said, he comes with two of them. I'm just showing off one. But there's two handles here. He can hold them in the same fashion as the other one, but this one doesn't tab in very well either, and the fingers wrap around. I just noticed I'm missing a finger, so I'm going to have to look around for that or check and see if it's in the unboxing. But there it is. And the same goes for the other handle. That actually holds a lot better, and the slot is wider, so to speak. So that works much better. The swords can also interlock, you know, and then you can hold either handle and use it as kind of like a staff. The swords can connect with the gun here in a number of ways. They can connect underneath, and then you can kind of have that weapon. They also can connect on the side, so you can have that weapon, and then you have this peg here, and that can also connect to the side of the spider drone, so you could drone that up or weapon that up, also arm that up. Or you can attach it to the wing. There's two spots where it'll fit. There's one there, you know, and you can kind of have it whichever way you want. And then there's this other port here, but this is a little tight, so be careful. Care for your fuel if you're driving. But also be careful when you go to insert this inside the wing, because it's very, very tight. Speaking of the wings, he comes with two of them. They come folded up like this, but they expand to a ridiculous extent. They're beautifully decoed with metallic red, silver, gold. So we have silver and gold. Throughout, you have the claws up here. And then you have this connector hinge here that will slide down into his back. And then you get the wing out to the side. You can get it up, so to speak. You can wrap all the way around. You can collapse. You know, it's pretty much limitless, and it's a very impressive wingspan. I'm going to take them off for the review, but, you know, just for ease and convenience, but they are impressive. So let's take a look at the figure, and we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. And we have, of course, the silver and gold deco, the metallic red, the translucent red also, which I guess is supposed to be some sort of light piping. It doesn't work. The eyes look dead as a result, unless you have the light going to shine directly into that back piece. And you know what? I have a little light. Let me see if I can activate it. I just found it recently. I forgot that I was gifted this. You know, even if you have the light directly into the back, it doesn't work. You know, it's an antiquated technology they should stop using. All right, sculpt-wise though, I think it looks really good. And the head is on a ball peg. This whole bit comes up. It doesn't really lock in from what I can tell. So, oh wait, there we go. It's just sort of, it's held with tension though. Limited up, good down, side to side, confused swoop face, all that stuff works well. Let me lower the camera a little bit, back out a taste, and we'll take a look at the torso. So I'm not crazy about the kind of G1 toy homage with the translucent over the gold. I think it probably would have looked better with just the gold. It looks foggy, in my opinion, with the translucent over top. Nice pad printed paint with the silver deco there. The gold, obviously. The metallic red looks great. Waist swivel, squeaky. This guy is squeaky everywhere. There's also an ab crunch that's super tight, but it's there. Shoulders are their own beast. The good news is painted beautifully per usual. We have the pad printed paint with Pterhowl as well as Cang toys and some symbols there, and on the other side the metallic kind of gunmetal red and gold. Now these shoulders are on universals, but they're connected to this housing inside the chest, and that's not locked in. So when you go to move the arm, the housing goes with it. You have to hold the housing, and it's not easy. And then move the shoulder independently from the housing in order to get it to work, and it's just not well designed. But it is ratcheted. Now, the housing also swivels up, but there's also the joint in the shoulder. Once again, it defaults to the housing because of the tolerance, but you can get all the way up. All right, bicep swivel. God, it's so tight, and you can put so much torque on it. Be careful, ladies and gents. Double jointed elbow that gets you beyond 90 degrees. Metallic silver paint, pad printed paint, wrist swivel, hinge in and outward. Thumb is on its own hinge, and then you have a secondary and tertiary hinge. Fingers are independently articulated, and they're on ball joints at the base, and then they come out to a secondary hinge, which will work just fine, by the way. Pad printed paint on the forearms. All that is good to go. Okay, let's back out now. We'll try to look at the whole figure. Hips. So we have these hip skirts here. They will get up and out of the way. They're beautifully decoed. Pad printed paint. Silver and gold. More translucent plastics. No issues. We have universal joints. They're ratcheted. They get you out to about there. Forward and back to there. So that's pretty much the full Monty. Thigh swivel. Silver paint on the thighs. Pad printed paint on the pelvis. Red metallic. Then you have your double jointed knee. And you can get it. It's a double jointed. But the second joint activates at the very end. And actually collapses this part of the thigh. Which is cool. I'm not sure if it's necessary. But it's cool. And it's not the most elegant looking knee either, for what it's worth. And then we have pad printed paint on the side here, the silver. The knee caps move around a bit also. You also have these bits on the ankles that you can move around, sort of have set wherever you see fit. I kind of like it lower on the foot. Up to you. Metallic red accents, pad printed paint there. The ankles themselves hinge up, hinge down, and have a rocker. The heel moves independently. The toe does not. And then there he is from the back, you know, obviously minus the wings. But let's do some size comparisons. Size comparison wise, there it is with the Fans Toys Swoop, so it's about the same height. And likewise, there it is with a Fans Toys limb, so it's a huge limb for combined mode. Robot wise, it's about the same size as your Dinobot, so if you had a super stylized collection, I guess it would fit in scale wise just fine. Okay, so let's start with the head. Just lower this visor piece down, lift this whole assembly up, spin the head 180, and then collapse it down into the beak. And let's see what else. Okay. These wings are, you know what? Let's just remove them. You can keep them on, but I think it'll be easier to see. Okay. So then we're going to take this back. We're going to flip in this little cover. We're going to open this up. We're going to flip this section out. We're going to take the head back, separate these two pieces so the head will fit nicely in there, and then close the neck. Bring this piece down. This will come all the way forward. That gray piece will tab into the chest, and then this piece will come up and lock it in, which is actually quite nice. Then you can take this red cover, spin that around. It has two tabs. There's two slots here, and just tab that in. And that's your head done, so to speak, and very, very flawless, actually. So I put the wings back on because I'm not sure you're going to be able to do so once you do this next part. So, all right, open up these. And then that will allow you to slide the forearm up. And then you want to close those back in. Make sure your hand is straight. Fold that back to the other side. And then close that forearm over top. Now, rotate the wing to the side. Bring that around. God, it's like an old house. And then on this side, the arm will come back down, and there's a slot here and a tab there. That will tab in, and those joints are really tight, so I'll clean it up afterwards, but that's the steps. And then this comes back and sits over top. So I'll show it again. Open up these tabs here. Rotate the hand. Slide the forearm up. Put those tabs back in. Open up this rear section. Flip the hand in. Clean that back up. Get your shoulder pad out of the way. Wing down. Out to the side. Shoulder over. And then on the back here, you're going to want to have this arranged where, sorry about this, the wings, but the tab fits in to the forearm. And then take your shoulder pad, rotate it, and collapse it, and make sure that that's all tight. And that's that. Rotate the thigh 180. Rotate get this out of the way, and rotate the ankle 180. And then this cover here, you want to get up and out of the way. And this, if you can see, let me see if I can get you a spudger view. There's these rails right here. And there's these tabs that go in. We need to get that out. And then once we get it out and around, there's new tabs that can go in those rails. There. Then this piece can come back down and this whole section will rock back up. Just make sure it all kind of stays together. Let me clean this up real quick. So we're going to do this on the other side as well. Rotate the thigh 180. Move your ankle guard. Rotate the ankle 180. This kneecap here comes out. We're going to slide the one set of rails out. We're going to rock down. Slide the other set of rails in. Bring the kneecap down. And then rock the thigh back in. Now he just needs to shake his tail feather, so bring this up and bring this up so that they meet in the center. This comes up and then your toes get spread on both sides. And the arms actually extend out of the wings. And I mean, that's really honestly it. I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And there he is. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that this thing is kind of trying to rely on its wings to make it passable. And the wings are impressive. But it's kind of all it has going for it. Proportionately, like the rest of the pterodactyl mode, I don't think really works all that well. Articulation-wise, we've looked at most of it, right? But there's a couple new things. So you have the elbow here at the wrist. You have the ball joint here at the wrist. The ball joint just gets you forward, though. It doesn't get you the other way, which is kind of obnoxious because you really want it to bend over the wing, but you can rotate the ball joint, but then it bends backwards, so like that's kind of a bummer. The head has a fair amount of articulation. You get up, you get down, and then you get like side to side, this way and that way, but you don't really get the swivel. So that's not really great either. Articulation-wise for the legs, it's the same except you lose the knee, and I don't really think there's like a whole lot left to say about it. The accessories incorporate into it the same way they do in robot mode, so there's nothing new to talk about there. I think the bird sculpt of the head, like the pterodactyl head sculpt, looks good. I think the wings are cool. I just think it relies far too much on the wings to kind of make it passable, and I don't think it looks good. But I don't think that the Stegosaurus, or maybe even a Kentrosaurus is what the other one was, I don't think that one looked good either. But there it is next to Tiger Tracks. It's huge. You know, it has that going for it. All right. Let's go to combine mode. So around here, we're going to take this, we're going to spin this, we're going to open this up. Rotate the head forward, but bring this notch up. Then this comes down, up and over, and sort of tabs in. And you can't see nothing because of that wing, can you? Into the top of the head there. Now, we pretty much have to reverse the transformation of the arms to bring the wings to the back to get rid of them. So, untab. Bring up, rotate the wings back, Rotate the arms forward, and then come on, girl. There. That'll just make life a lot easier. So, same thing. Shoulder. Around to the front. This wing comes around to the back. And slides out. Whew. Okay. We'll clean this up a taste. And the arms come down. Let's see here. Extend the forearm. And then plug it back in. Close this flap here. And then we need to sit that shoulder pad down. And then take your elbow. There's 2 notches here. They'll connect with 2 tabs on the shoulder pad. God, it's such a tight joint, dude. And I'll clean that up. And then I think you got to rotate. Gross. There. All right, one more. All right, same on this side. So I wish there was an easier way, but there's really not. All right, untab. Slide down. Rotate the shoulder so that you have your 2 tabs sitting there. Connect. I'll tab that in later. And then you just want to make sure that you have these situated properly. And make sure that this is closed up. And actually, I think according to the pictures and stuff, you're supposed to have these guns as like a part of the assembly, so just tab them onto the same place so you're restoring them in robot mode, where they could kind of come over the shoulder. And they sit down alongside the head. There. Oof, not the prettiest. So we need to extend our thigh back out. Lift our knee pad up. And disengage our rail for the time being. Then we need to take this hip, rotate it 180 degrees until it sits lower. Then, goodness, on this side, we need to take our heel. That'll come up on the other side of the toes. Bend this around. And you're looking to kind of collapse all of this. And it does sort of, I feel like it does kind of want to do it naturally. And then you're going to want to do the same thing for the other side. So extend from the thigh, knee pad up, extend the rail. We got to drop the hip. And somehow, did that get turned around? Yes, so let's spin this. All right. And then, once again, bring down the heel over the toe. And this will come up and over and sort of collapse all together. Now, mine is actually missing a piece, but you're supposed to bring this piece down, open this, and then there's another piece that's supposed to sit in there that folds down and I think locks into the knees here. But you can use this tab as well. Make sure these pieces here, if they're sitting out, these red pieces, that you fold them in. And then bring this gray piece up. Tab it into the foot. And then bring this one up, tab it into the foot, and it'll be even more solid. You can tab these two legs together too here. I think. But it'll be even more solid if you had that cross member from the red piece to go through. It's not on Roberts. I don't know if it fell off for him or if it wasn't included to begin with. So then you have these side wings. Fold up the gold piece. There's a tab and a slot there. Then this red piece comes over and is meant to tab into the ankle cover and then fold that piece up. Same on this side. Fold up the gold piece, translucent piece, tab that into the side, and then, I got to line that up a little bit better. And then make sure that these gray pieces are undone if they haven't come undone already. And then you want to extend the torso and then connect them back again. Take your hand, open this piece up, take the bits here, and this slides in and then I'll figure it out. Like, it's these two rails that it slides in on. I don't know if it's because I don't have that middle cross member there that's giving me some trouble. But then this piece is supposed to come up and over and peg in to this piece. I can't get that to work either. And then this piece sort of comes down over top. I'll do all that. We'll come back and clean it up. And there you have it. And these nails here, you can kind of like tuck them in if you want. I think it looks kind of wicked with the nails, but like claws, Yeah, it's fine. It's this thing kind of sucks, dude. And it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck because it's bad. It sucks because of how it's built. It's just not user-friendly experience. But I can't move this for anything, and I'm afraid I'm going to break the whole thing. I can't move the combiner port. But yeah, it's fine. You know, it's an arm. I can show you what it looks like next to the calf. You know, so if that means anything to you, there it is. Enjoy. Let's wrap this up. Found my marker. Final thoughts wise, we'll start with the negatives per usual. I mean, the main thing here I think is pretty obvious, right? Like the fit and finish, the build, the assembly is just too bloody tight. It's only extrapolated by the fact that like certain parts don't lock in on the robot mode. So as you go to move like the shoulders, the whole shoulder housing goes with it. You go to move the head, the whole neck housing comes with it. But it's a problem that plagues this thing pretty much from top to bottom. Moving right along, he doesn't hold the weapons very well. I'm not crazy about the translucent plastic on the beak. I think it detracts from the overall aesthetic. But on top of that, the light piping leaves dead eyes, and the light piping doesn't work even with direct light behind it or on top of it. And I think for the robot mode, that's pretty much my big ones. And I mean, like that build, it plagues this thing from top to bottom. Like it plagues the transformation process. On top of that, like parts of the transformation process, like it's not meant to like tab together. It's like meant to just sort of hold it in place. That's like a tactic we've been seeing more and more in the last couple years, and it's one that I don't think much of. The pterodactyl mode is kind of a throwaway. Proportionately, it's wonky. You don't get head side to side. The jaw does open. I didn't show that, but the jaw does open. There's that little flap from the hand that doesn't really connect properly with the inside flap for the legs. It's missing pieces. It might be missing a finger, but at the very least, it's missing that connector piece between the, like, it's just kind of a mess, man. I wish I had more good to say about it. Moving on to the positives, I love the sculpt overall. I think it's really cool looking. It's wicked, you know, and like the wings are so intimidating and massive, and it just has such a presence. I love how the weapons can be utilized in so many different ways and kind of brought into the display of the figure. It's painted beautifully. It's even well articulated to include an ab crunch and fully articulated ankles. You know, it's just really a build issue. And balance issue. I didn't mention that, but the wings are really, really heavy, and as a result make him back heavy. But yeah, let me get back to the paint real quick. Like the metallic paints are beautiful. All of the kind of tampo or pad printed paint is beautiful. You know, there's a lot of good here. The materials feel good, for instance. And I mean, to be fair, like the transformation itself isn't challenging. It's pretty straightforward. It's just such a nightmare because of the way it's built that like you really don't want to bother with it. So I don't know, man. It's a mixed bag. There's probably better stuff out there that you could spend your money on, in my opinion. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.